saying? Yeah.
Because that's really, what it is. Like, at the end of the day, not to, like, discriminate anybody, but black people is the greatest at boxing.
Tell him.
And mostly all sports, really.
Boo Boo and Drake's the best at boxing. How about that?
But
sometimes we protect the fighter, but sometimes it doesn't mean nothing. Like now, Benavidez versus Boo Boo. What do you bring to the table? He's a fighter that excellent fighter, but the only thing he wants is to win. He doesn't care about the public. He doesn't care about whoever paid the ticket to go into the arena, because the only thing he wants is to win. Doesn't matter how, running and moving, and that's the reason that it will not happen that fight too.
What? So, courtesy of an interview with I want to say David Benavidez's promoter. We find out the truth, about, unfortunately, what we kind of knew already. Yeah, man, I can't really say anything else that I haven't said before. You know what I mean? Like, I really haven't, I really can't say anything else like that, I haven't said before. That's the problem. Like, everything that I've said, I've repeated multiple times on multiple videos, not trying to convince people of, like, see, I told you so, but more or less trying to be like, well, it is what it is. This is boxing. And real ones know the truth, and other people will live out fantasies, Unfortunately, the other people who live out fantasies are usually of a different complexion than me. I'm actually, I want to say dark brown, but my family call me Bodejo, which means red in my language. They think I have a reddish complexion for some reason. I don't know why, but okay. But that's beside the point. But we hear the truth, we hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Now, I don't know if Benavidez shares this view. I really don't know. I don't know if Benavidez is feeling this way himself. I don't know if Benavidez believes that, I don't know if he, thinks this too. I mean, there's been videos where Benavidez has said that he'll stop Demetrius Andrade, right? He said that. He said, yeah, I'll stop him. I think I can stop him. Now, apparently his promoter doesn't think he can stop him, and here's where the issue lies. It's like, okay, now your promoter doesn't think that you can stop Demetrius Andrade. So we're in a situation where it's like, okay, well, if you don't think he can stop him, then what's what are we to do? Now, honestly, I kind of didn't see that fight happening anyway, due to the simple fact that, I hate to say it, but I think Demetrius Andrade, his intentions were good when he signed to Eddie Hearn, because without divulging too much of his contract, one of the things that was in that contract was that he would be able to, like, go to a different like network in order to fight. That was one thing that was put in his contract. But the other network doesn't seem to want to, like, garner up the cost for making that happen. But you heard it straight out the horse's mouth. We all knew boxing is a business. We knew that. We know that boxing is a business, and that, some people will protect their business. they will protect it. They will be like, well, I really don't want to fight. I really don't want to fight this, have this guy fight my guy. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality, that we have to deal with in boxing. We have to deal with this reality, So, in dealing with this reality, we just have to, go on and say again that, Demetrius Andrade, is definitely one of the head honchos of the Negro League boxing. You have Devin Haney, who's up there with him, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what's holding up the fight with, what's holding up the fight with Kambosos? At this point, like, he doesn't have an opponent, and I hate to say it, but it seems like, it seems like that he actually is definitely going to hold off on, like a fight with like any lightweight in order to fight Ryan Garcia. That's what it seems like is going to happen. You know what I mean? And so this is what we're looking at. You have David Morrell. He doesn't have a fight available. It's crazy to say it, but yeah, he doesn't have a fight available. John Ryder is his mandatory, but I think John Ryder is lightweight trying to hold out to get a Canelo fight. I think that's what he's trying to do. So, this is unprecedented, bro. Hopefully David Morrell's manager or whatever his promoter will say, or his dad will say, no, man, chill out, man. You need to stop saying things like that. Hopefully it's a hope of mine that will happen, but I really don't know if it's gonna happen. It's crazy that he would actually utter these words, which lets me know that, yeah, for sure, Demetrius Andrade has solidified himself as one of the chairmen of the boards of the Negro League. Now, one thing I want to say about this is, and I'm going to kind of like break it down. He said, some promoters protect fighters, right? He said that. Those were his words. He's like, yeah, some promoters, they protect these fighters. The thing is this. Unfortunately, with boxing, in an ideal world, you would be able to come back from a loss. A loss would define you, but it would define you in a way that's like, okay, I'm going to bounce back from this loss. You know what I mean? This loss is not going to deter me from doing what I need to do in order to, how should I say it? Be the best I can be, in order for me to show people that, I can come back from my adversity. I can experience a setback, learn from that setback, and become a hell of a lot better than the setback that I had. You know what I mean? That's usually what boxing was supposed to be about, right? But of course those days are like long gone now. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but that's just what it is, So yeah, man. So I, these words I was not expected to hear. So let's kind of break down some of the things he said, and then we can just get to it. Now, the one thing he said that I was surprised at is, what does he bring to the table? That was one thing he said. Now, one thing I want to say about that is that, he's an undefeated fighter. He's arguably the most avoided fighter, one of the most. Jaron Ennis and Devin Haney, they're with him, in that list. Jaron Ennis, he please. I'm pretty sure that it's only a matter of time before, Joran Ennis is pretty much more avoided than Demetrius Andrade, and you can put David Morrell with him as well. He'll be in that he'll be in that category too, man. Like, I'm telling you guys. But yeah, now imagine if, let's just say hypothetically speaking, say that, David Benavidez does beat Demetrius Andrade. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that he does. Let's say he accomplishes that goal. That's a hell of a stamp to have. To be the two-time world champion, to be the former Olympian, to be arguably one of the most avoided guys in the sport of boxing. David Benavidez, his stock would go up. Like, I think he would have some newfound respect. On the flip side, though, unfortunately, because for many reasons, I don't want to go into them, but many reasons. You have the fact that that many people don't know about Demetrius Andrade. As a matter of fact, as sad as it sounds, and this is very sad to say this, it's very, very sad that, people, even in the boxing world, boxers know about Demetrius Andrade, but they don't talk about him like that. He's like the elephant in the room that people are afraid to talk about. I think one of the elephants in the room who's like that, who has that vein, that has that issue, is Erickson Lubin. They know he's there, but they're like, well, a good fighter, a guy that we, respect and things like that. But they're like, well, he's that one guy that we know he's super good, but he's too good. You know what I mean? He's too good. He's too he's too much. We know that he experienced a setback, but that setback has seemingly, unlocked a new level in him. You know what I mean? So this is where we're at with these things. We're at this level where we have, these fighters who don't get talked about a lot. Of course, Canelo gets talked about, Lomachenko gets talked about, even Ryan Garcia gets talked about so much. You have guys like, I can name a few, but you have certain dudes that, they don't want to mention, but there's other dudes that they do want to mention. So that's one thing that goes, unfortunately, against Boo Boo. That's one of the things. Now, another thing he said that I found quite odd is two things. Let's dissect two things in this. Now, he said, Boo Boo does not care about the fans. He only cares about winning. That's what you're supposed to care about, numero uno. Floyd only cared about winning. And more people showed up and more butts were filled in seats because they wanted to see him lose. So the revenue for him increased, and for the overall fight, it increased, because people wanted to see Floyd lose, man. So, you're supposed to care only about women. You know what I mean? You're supposed to care about it. And no matter how it's done, you still have to go about winning. No matter how it's done. No matter how you win, as long as it's in a legit way. That's all you should care about as a fighter, is winning. So, the thing is this. Let's dissect this even more. All he cares about is winning, even if it means him moving around, even if it means him running. Now, Demetrius Andrade said something a long time ago that was pretty true and pretty interesting. They said, okay, if I fight in a way that is like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, are these people going to visit me in the hospital? Which was a very, very good point. A very, very good. He made a very, very excellent point. So, in essence, what the promoter is saying is this: that Mexican fighters, for the most part, Mexican fighters need a guy to stand in front of them in order for them to be victorious, or in order for them to please their fan base even more. So they need the Maurice Hookers of the world. They need the Robert Easters of the world. They need the hell, even Deontay Wilders of the world. They need the who else? Let me think. Trying to think of another fighter like that. They need maybe like, I don't know, they maybe need the Regis Prograis of the world. You know what I mean? They maybe need like those type of fighters, you know, who just smother their work and stuff like that. So, in essence, it would be what he's saying is it will be an entertaining fight if I want to say if Boo Boo were to stand in front and just block shots with his head. That's what he is essentially saying. And the accumulation of shots to the head will ultimately, of course, end it. Now, you look at Dave Benavidez when he fought Anthony Durrell. Anthony Durrell was kind of pretty much standing there. The footwork was lacking, you know what I mean? So, of course, the fight was going to be ended pretty soon. You looked at Kyron Davis, whatever his name is, he was doing the same exact thing, egging him on, trying to make it an entertaining fight. But, you know, Boo Boo wouldn't do that. The thing is that what Boo Boo would do is he would show, he would do it in a way that he would release dog on David Benavidez. Like maybe David Benavidez would think, oh, he's just gonna move around, he's just gonna box. He's just gonna box around, I'm gonna cut off the ring, he's gonna run. But at the end, he may like do what he did to Jason Quigley and break his jaw. He may come out super aggressive, not use a jab. The thing is, Boo Boo can fight in different ways. You know, you watch his fights. He fights in different ways, man. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He fought on that guy Arthur Akavov, I think, he just used his jab. Just like flick, use his jab. He fought Selecki, looping shots. He fought Katandakwa. Combinations. The combinations, angles and combinations, right? So, at the end of the day, we know what it is. And this is not the first time we hear things like this. When Oscar Valdez lost to Robson Conceicao, and you saw it on his face looked like a damn, a pepperoni pizza or something like that. His face was all pepperonied up. He said the same thing in the post-fight. Oh, he was running. He said that he used those talking points. He was running. You look at the fight with Brandon Figueroa, Stephen Fulton. Sore loser, Brandon Figueroa. He said the same thing. He was running. When Stephen Fulton pretty much was doing a little bit of everything, staying in the pocket, but also boxing with Figueroa as well. I rewatched that fight at least 3 times, and I had it 8-4 for Fulton. So, with this being said, if you are a Negro League fighter, then you have your work cut out for you to win these people over. And you have your work cut out just getting fights in general. Just getting fights is going to be difficult for you. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, it is what it is. We're at where we're at. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, before I close this video, David Morrell Jr., Osvari David Morrell Jr., he knows how to get aggressive. He knows how to get in there with you. He knows how to mix it up with you. Right? But I think the fact of the matter is, because he is a more superior boxer to David Benavidez, and he would hit those combinations from angles while still being in there, while being within close range for David Benavidez to hit him. That's why that fight doesn't happen. Now, one thing I want to say about this is that it's just the footwork is on a higher level. And you would think that, hey, these guys would train would train footwork. You would think that they would train footwork, but they just really train like seek and destroy, But with that being said, man, leave your thoughts and leave your comments about this, man. This is surprising, very surprising. But anyhow, Fuller signing out. Andrade.